Hi guys, and welcome to the Rainbow Six Replays YouTube channel. Today we want to present the video highlights of the match between Team Falcons and RazaH Company Academy during the Six Invitational 2025. Want to remind that you have opportunity to support the channel on the Patreon page. Find the link in the description or in the comments. Enjoy.
Contact for RazaH a little bit better by getting the kill onto Jalad, back of Armory. He's eventually finished off by Perez, and it's a good little double combo from RazaH as they're actually able to make their way in. And from below, Live takes out Dov, who was very low. The skeleton key does just enough damage to finish him off.
Strong opener here, and they're going to see if they can keep putting the pressure as Pacetto tempted and teased the kit, but pulled off. Don't know what they thought they saw or smelt in the air, but it might be an Echo drone. No, that gets removed, and we are in. Oh, not even a post plant. He popped up. Robbie tried to go for the retake, but a flawless. And that will stop them as soon as they make their entrance. They don't entirely need to throw themselves towards this, but the time that Dove is sitting, waiting, and stealing as Perez finds one. Dove finds Fiastri. An immediate sort of swing back, but Perez threads the needle, and it's a 3 versus 3. Suddenly, Perez gets his third for the round.
Thinking about going for this pick, but Perez is just watching and waiting. Knows he's tucked in on the right side. Unfortunately, he does lose his life. It's 4 for Perez, but GARZ is able to at least get the down. Will stop that ace from transpiring. I think Jack will be happy about that one. And they drop down and they can hit the site. 50 seconds, plenty of time. And GARZ, half health. Could still make something of this. You can never count anyone out in a 1 versus 2. Yellow ping information does know where the plant is going down. Needs to win this battle. Can't. Rotates away. Takes one over towards waiting. Live does well. And does very well. Holds his nerve, and they win out the 2 versus 1. That misses the head of Robbie, and GARZ will be the one to eventually open things up in this round.
And there's Jalad getting a second. SDK gone again. Perez, can he try and do the magic he made happen on the previous round? This time, look how surrounded he is by Falcons players. He's trying to isolate an engagement. They're not gifting it to him, but they have packaged the C4 over the top. There's at least one back for Live, but yeah, and Falcons, great positioning here. They had all the cover of the players. They had the verticality, maybe a little bit overzealous. RazaH trying to sort of break and bust their way in towards Archives, but it's not really amounted to anything here. Just sprays as they fall into the distance. 50 seconds. Great closeout from Falcons. Absolutely rinsed any of this hold. A plant with all 10 players up. Falcons read like a book, and now the blitz, well, he actually gets knifed, but baiting some of the motion, trying to get the swing. Jalad does find Perez, but it's still a tricky retake. They've got to make sure that they have the coverage on the body. There's one, and another play against it. Deep from the fight on construction. The glass on the window is the potential nightmare. They've just got to try and throw themselves out, but there's cover for that as well. Jalad gets one more here. The pistol, they're waiting for the cover in the swing. 20 seconds, but they've got to be on it and undeterred at about 10.
Well, there's no more smokes remaining for SDK, so he can only just play this quite naturally. Inside of Telestovs, it's going to get on it right now. They're expecting the run out, and nicely done by Flashtree to play for that. He understood the mission. They were going to throw bodies. Cannot ill afford if you run past someone and say still inside of security, which is where Robbie was before. He has now gone over towards Fountain. Perez, though, somehow gets the opening kill. Dov thought about being able to get that self-revive. Never going to happen, though. Down and now out confirmed. 2-player advantage for RazaH, almost a third through Flashtree. GARZ somehow able to stay alive. Goes for the drop shot, fails that one as well as the kid is now going onto the floor. At the hands of Pacetto and RazaH, though, they don't even have enough time to get the plant onto the floor.
RazaH Company was just in the right place. Oh no. They're caught out entirely. The Malusi is going to do their best, but there's somebody else there as well. They still get the kill.
What?
Good effort, GARZ, but there might be another trade coming through if Perez doesn't know about the player. Tucked in the box, it's a Shom.
This is the thing with the new changes to like Blitz, for example, as Hashom up close, left, gets the kill onto Perez. I feel like Blitz players are still so used to being such a powerful offensive weapon.
Yep, that's come across. There's the roll through. There's players underneath. Will this be a C4 put on sandwich window? No, but it's awarded. As I said, you know, he is the perfect player to be in this position. He's a little bit early on his losing of the second. They know exactly where he is. They have to close him down in 2 versus 1 before support starts to show. But you can see them opening up angles underneath. They're trying to watch and stop any of this approach. There's the spray through, and he is surviving for much longer than he should have. But a valiant fight that leaves Live also very injured.
Now, no more gas canisters for Jalad, and Hashim, of course, on the Arun, he's not going to offer too much either. You've got 4 smokes available for RazaH Company between SDK and Live, along with, of course, the Inox scanner. So information onto Hashom's position. Still got the gridlock stingers too, as well, as Live does get the kill onto Hashom. 3 in the round for him. It's all down to Jalad. Does get the down onto the Jackal, and with that now creates a 1 versus 1 going into the final 20 seconds of the final round of the half. SDK could put a nail, at least one, into the coffin. Jalad, though, hoping that that does not happen as they continue to go back and forth, left and right here through the windows, and the shotgun from Jalad is oh so perfect. Desperately players at the tournament, and he's doing so again here in a pretty crucial match against Falcons. As for their opponents, though, Jalad, much better performance in this game. Starts with the opening kill against STK, and a second foul onto Live. Dolph losing his life as we got to watch that one as Perez cleans him up from a distance. Jalad with a big kill as well onto Perez, and it's just back and forth shooting around border. That is this map in a nutshell, Emmy.
Well, there's the Nook activating, finds one on the back, and suddenly it's just Basetto alone. The calls are coming through. They have the site controls. They could probably go for a plant, but they want to push for the kill. Fair enough. It's a win condition, just as valid, and it's one where you know Falcons, they knew when to operate, and here it is, making their way directly towards the Oryx, blinding him and dropping him with the pistol as well. They're pushing in towards Fountain, but the crossfire is there too for RazaH, though. One is down, Live. He's hit the ground, and Dov keeps the pressure on, the finishing, and suddenly it's a 2 versus 2. Again, all over the map and all around, there seems to be an absolute rout. They tuck themselves close in. The Blackbeard just holding the tight angle. Very clever. Now you've got to try and maybe fight the vertical, but that is what Blackbeard does. The smoke was out of reach. Great, great bit of motion there from the pair, and they had to watch.
What are you looking at? Hashom slowly but surely over towards bot metal, making his way up, getting the free drone, barbed wire in the way. There is one close by, though, and does get the kill onto SDK. Caught completely unaware of the positioning of Hashom. Perez does get one onto guards. This feels like the moment in which Falcons as a team coordinating their attack, starting to make their pushes, starting to see if they can poke and prod this defense of RazaH, but not necessarily that effective. Certainly not the same as the previous round. Robbie towards security. Lovely shot against Flash Street, but traded. Perez was close by. Keeps the advantage for RazaH.
At this point, 45 seconds, and Falcons are still trying to keep the pace up. They're still trying to show them how to play fast. They make sure that they're not coying and being shy when things start to filter away, slowly creeping their way up center stairs, spraying through, gives a bit of the position away, but I think you expected it. Again, the pressure of time here, and what do they have to cross the divide? 2 flashes. That is it at this point. So it's Gun trying to get in towards Armory, get the cover, and Perez is the man that they've got to cut out of this, but he's been playing very well. You can see this approach, as I said, on towards this door. This is the only place they could try and get some solid control. There's the flashes, but he pushes in towards the fight. The cover's there from Basetto, and without any first step in that's a good potential one. The C4 does
damage.
A bit of damage to Hashom, not enough to knock him out, but they'll sort of pull the catch, and whoa! Perez turns onto Robbie on a dime, gets the drop onto him, and that is a huge, huge kill, which could be a determining factor in how this round starts to play out. They break their way round. At this point, Falcons desperately trying to grab just a loose RazaH player. Here is the potential fight for Jalad to level things up in the final 30 seconds, and he's a scrappy spray back and forth, but he didn't need to take it. SDK does, though. Gets Dove, guards ringing around to the side of Fountain, but the other players, they learnt the lesson, and they've dropped down.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't need to peek that if you're Basetto. You're holding very nicely. 20 seconds left now. Falcons trying to force this one. Otherwise, RazaH will find themselves on map point. Hashom still on the Blackbeard, so he's got at least some kind of protection. The drop coming down. Nitrocell, the only one that Live has, the only one that RazaH has, opens up the wall, but he can't see him because of the bathroom. Plant goes down successfully. SDK tried to rush it. Live in a better position. Does get the trade, but it's a post plant.
Rotating their way up in the Blackbeard. Drops for the fight. He didn't need to. He had a support of Jalad on the shoulder. And oh, there was a few decisions from both teams throughout that.
But Basetto's going to get away.
Well, in this moment, Perez does get Robbie, and Robbie's shut down. There's a good response. It's almost 2 gifts again. Not quite looking themselves in towards office. They're trying to get the step on towards Fountain itself. SDK is the fight back, though, and he was ready for it. Guards gone. They lose the Blackbeard now. A 3 versus 4 here for Falcons to try and keep themselves alive on their map.
Yeah, there's a couple of bulletproof cameras as well set up, and losing Robbie early with those Fudge drones not being employed, those will stay up for RazaH, so they're going to have really good information towards the side. Hashem's in a world of hurt towards Custom. I mean, just completely outnumbered, surrounded, and with that, it seems as if the round, and therefore the map, is falling away from Falcons. RazaH on the verge of claiming the opening map of this series, but hey, Dov has other words. Jalad from above, and Live is already down with Fiestri going as well. It's down to Perez in a 1 versus 2. Huge flip of the round for Falcons, heading into the final 30 seconds. Perez with it all to do. With PSG Talon in their corner, they will him to win this very round, but he's got 2 players that are holding very strong with much higher health pools, and indeed, Jalad comes in to save the day.
Loose the EMP C4s.
Nitro.
They're both stuck, but they're not going to be able to be popped off. They've got to swing and put the pressure on because they rolled the EMPs to perfectly cut the C4s. Falcons, using the utility juggling, have been able to pull it together, but there's still the chance of getting themselves caught out here. The gun barrel reveals the position. You know they're going to be watching the rotate up the stairs itself. There's at least one back for SDK, but it is such a hard retake, especially with all the Ossa shields still in place. Spacestation, all that's left, gets one out the window, but no further. Falcons of that potentially onto the sandwich window. There's the break. Are they aware of it to his right? Oh, not enough. They do at least get a C4 kill. The down comes out, and Sean gets one. A second C4 does offer some support, but they're still battling. There's still a chance here for them to keep the trades up and keep them leveling. They have grabbed on to some of the control on Armory, but that was almost around for him. He pre-fired the wrong app.
Same. And a ridiculous amount of time and information that's already been gained by Fiestri. That's going to be an easy kill onto Robbie. Knows where the last player is. Everyone now for RazaH can start to converge on this location. Yes, he loses his life, but Dolph now makes his way up top metal stairs.
An inroad, and there's almost this moment where we've seen RazaH lean into fights they probably shouldn't have taken before. If you're a RazaH fan or a PSG fan, you're probably hoping that they just stay together for now. Do not give Dov an opportunity, and they don't. He's very good at taking them. They get their first attack.
He needs to get others involved as well. Gumine stepped on by Fiestri. Just over a minute left. Spacestation losing his life to Hashem, watching from underneath the hatch. It seems as if a 15th round will very much be required as SCARZ gets the kill onto Live. It is RazaH Company once again proving failure to find an attacking round where it's utmost needed, as Falcons will send us to all 15 rounds on Border. They are 1 round away. Can't really do much about him. He's the boogeyman. Oh, that can do something, though. That shuts down the Blackbeard. Huge kill from Spacestation and opens up the door, the pathway for RazaH to get themselves this very map as Dov falls. Suddenly, Falcons are capitulating in the 15th round, and they are getting slaughtered on Border. PSG Talon and a reprieve. For now, you are still alive.
Answer questions, but having a man who can sort of walk in with a big metal shield and quickly get to a gun that obviously Falcons are very proficient with, probably going to be very happy to have it. The Grim was a bit of a good point for them as well, and the Kite juggle against some of these hard walls.
5 seconds, still a 5 versus 5. We had nothing like this on Border.
They scream their way up the walkway stairs and win the first engagement, but they're just going to have to try and throw themselves into sight. So Robbie sets himself on the first door, and, well, can his army follow through? Jalad suffers a bit, Robbie does as well, but they've still got the territory, the corners to work with here. The pressure on the breach is slowed and stopped by pretty much everything toxic in this game. The smoke will take a while to dissipate, and in that moment, well, he can't rotate off. He just has to sit and wait and maybe go for the dive. But Jalad sneaking his way around the back stairs. He gets the spray and he's covered by Fiestri. But they can't get the kit down because of Robbie on the watch. Gets knocked down. A 2 versus nobody. Falcons. Scratches and fights, dances and blinds as they start to move their way in. There's the first. The pressure around the corner, clearing the utility, and the smoke drives them right into Jalad. Watching and waiting. The long fight does get revenge, but 20 seconds here and a 3 versus 3. They still have to cross the divide. Fiestri gets a couple on the back end, though, and SDK sticking the kit, going for the plant. It's a bit of motion. They're trying the retake, but this time it hasn't quite worked. Now, verticality, I said it wasn't really effective before. It is a nightmare to have to clear past Live. He knows the engagement. He's keeping himself a little bit coy, a little bit distance from it for the first, but as Hashem goes down, Robbie with the secondary popped it round the corner. We are back level. Giveaway, they're able to get it. It felt a bit clean. We didn't truly get the taste of it. I don't even know if it was an outside peek, though it wasn't the Deimos. It was probably vertical. I mean, he gets this one pretty clean as well. This really was a tour de force player with Falcons on border. STK finds Hashom. Maybe we won't see a C4 shot out this round, but will they try and push onto Flastry? They're being patient. Not going to fight for the verticality guards, though. He might need a little bit of support. Jalad finds Perez. There goes STK. Jalad gets a double. The fighter dove on the doorway as he takes a bit of damage. He's got some supportive from Robbie, but they don't need to swing that fight right now. 3 of them are ready for this engagement. And you're almost sort of saying, Falcons, stop.
Well, it feels like Flastry's probably going to need another 4K here if they're going to win this round. I know he's still got Paceto up as well, but 45 seconds. This is looking like a Falcons round for all money. Although Dov, Jalad, both very, very low. So if you can find those players pretty early here into the next 30 seconds, there is a possibility. But there goes Flastry. Paceto does get one onto Jalad, but the numbers prevail for Falcons. They retake
the bottom of the stairs, and I mean, we've seen big kills from these sort of plays against the vertical, but as Dove gets Flastry on the far side of 5 versus 3, 5 versus 2. Sit.
Wow.
Put that one on socials.
Oh, like, you better win the round now.
Yeah.
You must win this round. You can't lose a 5v2 after saying sit. 35 seconds for Paceto and Live to maybe put some egg on the face of Dov. It's going to take something very, very unlikely. Nitrocell was thrown out, misses. Paceto still alive. Gas Babe plus bullets. Does the job, leaves Live in a 1v4. No time remaining. Robbie.
Went down pretty late. There's the pop of smoke canisters as the pressure is trying to find its way through. But remember, it was a Flastry 4K, and this time he flashes himself. Jalad does go down. And at some point, you assume Dov is going to activate around the back, but suddenly 2 kills have come through. Almost 3, but there's Dov. Gets Flastry, gets his presence known, but look at his teammates here. Xenox, both of them are down.
Yeah, I mean, that does mean Dov's technically in a 1 versus 3. 7 seconds, though, time a good factor in favor of him. But no, full white, he didn't even get to see his attacker.
I know how you're going to try and approach this. Another call, but remember, this is just to get the verticality on the side, and he finds the Blackbeard. Can he find the 3rd? Yes, he can! What an absolute force he is for Falcons! And now, taking this round on his back, it leaves just Perez and Paceto. They get 1, but without the verticality, they even look at the site, and they're going to be shut out. There's Robbie. And
Gotta keep going. Gotta pick up this pace. 30 seconds. You don't want to leave this down to the last 10 or so. Dov is low. This is winnable. You've got flashes. They've just got to back themselves in. Play off of each other as they are doing right now. In bunk, you've got 1 more smoke, 2 flashes. Smoke still up, almost dissipating. But as you mentioned before, Emmy, R6 room covered by Jalad. And you've still... Oh! Jalad no more! Perez puts a bullet between his eyes. That can get the plant down inside of bunks. Almost stopped. It will be stopped. Dov on a heater. 4 kills. And it will be 4 rounds for Falcons. A roller coaster of a round.
Map would be done, but at this point here, obviously they've not got the Blackbeard. They've almost got the cover.
That's it.
Yeah, Perez has it. But we, again, this is far and away the best site for defenders.
Yeah.
And you can sort of see why, how awkward it is to approach the different crossfires that are just gifted towards the defense based on the setup. It's the only one where you're almost immediately entering.
Ready for it. It is going to be guards. Vulcan canister is popped, forces guards back. He doesn't continue to push forward. Light with the opening pick onto Dov, gets rid of the ramp. Another drop down. Perez has got to find his kill onto Robbie. Robbie was absolutely out in the open. Nitrocell should get shot. No, he does get the down onto Robbie. Perez will peek and confirm it. No, he doesn't.
It's such a tough way to pick him back up, but it's drawn the Blackbeard away because now the Blackbeard has to cover Robbie, and now there's only a single fight. He's spraying. He's gone for the hop out. Surely the Blackbeard gets him, and he does. Bit of a risk there, but it's taken the positions that Falcons wanted to set up in and force them. Jalad makes sure that he keeps driving along. There's now the backup and the support, but 30 seconds. X-Kairos take a long, long time, and the call will come through. They've got to keep the vertical, so it turns into sort of a flat fight inside the site itself. Guards, where will you position? Well, apparently putting bullets through the heart of Paceto, and Hashom gets 1 before SDK gets 2 back with the fire on Jalad. Guards
GARZ can't plant. He has to push forward, Emmy. There's only 7 seconds left, and he's standing still because of the flames. SDK and Live will just know exactly where to aim their guns. But you've still got the Clash that can get involved, so there's other obstacles that can come and meet this challenge face on against Falcons. Love the fact they're playing behind the Clash as well. Gridlock Stinger's not ideal, and a big kill from GARZ, of course, who now wants to go and get this plant inside of bunks. There is still a gas bait, but there are no nitro cells, and it looks like there's no denial. Oh, there is! Last second denial! Live got the kill! Perez follows up! Suddenly, RazaH find themselves winning in this 9th round and look to maybe take the lead of this map. SDK in Flashtree versus Hashom. He's got 20 seconds to do something miraculous for Falcons. Otherwise, RazaH will be leading.
We said the Clash would be a genius play or up in the air, and as it
that is
cooks,
bullying.
Hashom, at this point, there is nothing he
way!
can do a goo mine.
Okay, and a lifeline.
Well, here's the chance at the break. The Blackbeard is instantly met with grenades, and there's going to be a goo mine, but it's the cover of GARZ. 5 versus 2. And now, the 2 remaining RazaH players, Perez and Basetto, have everything to do. They're knocking on the doors of the site, and they're going for a bit of a rotate around the back because, well, they're so separate. Perez, his strike, if it's unknown, uncontested, could be big, but then where does he go? It's a long route and run back to the site itself. He slips on by the ace. It's going to be the first one he finds, but they hear it and he still wins it out. Dove gets dropped. He's going to keep pushing on, and Falcons response. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Up main stairs. Go towards the site. We know they're here, so let's try and shut down the other one, and he's behind 2 fights. Basetto gets one more and not quite able to get it locked out. All down to Basetto to swing on the closed door. They're going for the plant, but it's won out by Hashom, and Falcons tie us back up. Going in, they baited in another bandit trick. It allowed him to lock it in. There's the Blackbeard, and he's got the shield up. Goes for the smoke cover, and he's able to get it! Somehow amongst the chaos, Falcons claw a couple of bodies back, but with a shield of SDK stepping into the space to try and just rebuff, slow, stop, 50 seconds. The 2 RazaH players toe-to-toe, seeing if there's a bit of an adventurous Falcons player on the back end. It's a risk. And he turns his back at the worst time, Jalad! Punishing RazaH! It leaves SDK with maybe a gun. He'd run in a gun game, there's 1. But 30 seconds means we sit! RazaH can respond to this. GARZ and Dove, shoulder and shoulder, ready to explode into the site, and we are off into it, and the first fight is SDK, but it's back and forth, and it's a double kill from Dove, but he's locked down a 2 versus 2. They're able to hold themselves in, but Flashtree keeps them going, and Hashom has a 1 versus 1 round the corner, but he's going to try and have to isolate one. He doesn't know about the man nearby, and he's hoping with the 6 bullets in his inventory he can catch it, but
Flashstree's got the cross, so you don't need to peek if you're STK. He can't push the What a headshot though from Hashom, and suddenly, just suddenly now STK is stuck and waiting for his moment to peek and try and shut down Hashom.
He doesn't have the kit. It has to be an engagement, and he's more than ready for it. It is Hashom!
Oh my god!
Falcons! The series isn't over, but their run is on the up and up.
A 7-1 stomp now, and it's it's a bit of a dampener on the series as a whole, but it's been a tremendous showcase of what high-pressure Siege can look like. Yeah, a team fighting for elimination. Yeah. And I think you'll probably find Falcons can now let loose a little bit. Skyscraper defense, I think, is at its best when you go for these kind of plays. And Hashom, well, the man of the hour after clutching out on Lair, gets the 2nd kill of this round. Vendetta from Live does get his elimination. Left mark goes out. On to Dove. Dove, though, finds a kill onto Perez. Doesn't even really mind. The death mark is on his location, and Falcons very, very clinical.
Usually Barbecue Kitchen is where you'd end up going next and struggling it a bit. Some loose cannon teams like to enjoy the bedroom, but Hashom, well, his preference is outside.
Phase 2, so you're feeling a little bit more up and about. You're on defense to begin, a bit more comfortable, especially on this map. Battle over towards house stairs, though. Live has to win this, and he does not. Nothing's going the way at the moment of RazaH. Until that point, it's the Montang. Pulls out the pistol, finds the kill onto GARZ, and with that, it's a 3 versus 3. Hello, Jalad. Can they get the pinch onto the Monty, though, and put SDK under an immense amount of pressure? Perez is there, watching and waiting, keeping Hashom locked in towards Exy, which still has a Nitro cell. Big kill from Dov. They finally deal with that downstairs push, though. Now down to the Montang and the Ash.
Well, the C4 doesn't quite net the kill. They're trying to find a way through, but it's just a crossfire you've walked into. And yeah, you've got 13 seconds left. He's low. You're checking high. Doesn't matter because he's also behind
this map. Because then the 2-0 against BDS still wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah.
Oh, guards. Opening pick again for Falcons. I mean, they're just all over RazaH company at the moment. And even Flashtree there on the rappel, just getting tagged up by Jalad towards Geisha. Where's the Geisha pressure? I mean, RazaH have got players out on the balcony. Finally, Dov will go down. The first time you're on this map, 5-1. Guards very, very low. If not mine, just blocks his vision, forces him back outside, but that's not really where you want to be. At least a bit more of a scrap, and RazaH really forcing the fight here in the third round, which is much better than, say, the opening two, as Flashtree does get a little peek in towards the site. Doesn't spot anything initially. And unfortunately for RazaH company, they still don't have enough top floor control. You've still got Jalad inside of Geisha. Yes, Perez over towards the mezzanine will go to contest. But Bassetto's very, very low with the kit. He has to get that plant down. Jalad does spot one outside on the balcony. Nicely done, though, from Perez and Bassetto to deal with that vertical pressure. And that vertical hold has now been eliminated. Falcons only with 2 on the first floor.
Well, that goes to 1, and he probably has just as much health here. Guards. We knew this one would be tricky, but with 10 seconds... just takes one moment, one kill, and one diffuser to be out of reach for this to be in their favor. In fact, now as they go for the plant, they're on the left side. He's going to pop up for the cover. It's hot pinged, and well, he can't win that fight out. They had a good idea.
So far, the primary sites haven't been all comfortable, unfortunately, for RazaH, but Perez getting rid of Dol at least opened things up a little bit, and Bassetto finds himself in the middle of T-room. With that, he gets a little bit of information and maybe even the opportunity to find the plant, of which he goes for now. Nitro Cell, though, will get him well and truly off of that plant, forces him out into the hallway where he is very much susceptible to these defenders. Very, very well played from Falcons. They are controlling these maps, and that is going to be something they have to work on moving into Phase 2. You cannot be in a position whatsoever where you're constantly giving up these opening kills when you are attacking. Still, with a 1-player advantage, be Falcons. A bit more fighting happening earlier in this round, and Robbie will regain the 2-player advantage that they certainly got earlier. It's just scrappy siege here in the 5th round. Gelato with the shotgun shuts down Flashtree, who just can't get involved as he has in better portions of this series. Down to Bassetto. The hard breach up, finds himself in a 1 versus 3 with little chance. Hey, prone. Gelato, despite the elbow sticking out, he finds the head of his opponent.
Experience, right? It's been a very long, very intense series, and RazaH company are the only roster coming into this tournament where every single player had never played in an SI before. It's a different environment, and there's 2 kills that have picked up a good response and a bite back in, but now it's a 2 versus 4. But not for very long. And as I was saying, you know, GDN was the only one previously who'd had experience. They're watching for support as well. Jalad's position underneath of the Deimos, but it's a lot of utility gone. Ooh, Flashtree, do you want the smoke? Dove does, gets live, gets the Monty though, and didn't quite have the right angle to prevent that.
This is aggressive from Bassetto. Taking on the battle against Jalad, and does get the kill. Pretty significant advantage right now for RazaH. Dov a little bit too late to come back and get the trade, although maybe not too late at all because Bassetto's still close by. This shotgun should down him, but that's a wonderful, wonderful reposition from Bassetto to not play on the close angle for the swing. Swings out wide, gets the kill, and RazaH get their first on. Do you think the re-addition of Mad Skills has affected Robbie?
Well, I think obviously you go into a player who's had a long history with these players, and I'll get into this point in a second, as Dov is able to find one huge pressure onto SDK, but he's able to win it out against
Robbie,
the aforementioned player. There's a Monty with a bit of shoulder cover as Flashtree is the next to suffer, and Falcons, what they're doing is trying to isolate that Geisha player, and there's a support that's attempting to come, but it can't quite get to him. So SDK, he's doing his best to hold off with Stan. Flashtree is trying to move back into Shrine position. Bassetto is there as well. Think about where they're stacking up and where the site is. Dov finally finds the end of SDK, and now they can sort of turn their back to this half, but they still have to cross and play, and as they juggle outside the minibar side, the pressure still has to come here from Falcons, and what a swing! There's a big potential. Taken! Basetto backed off, but buried. A player with Flashry getting guards, and just the amount of time wasted on the other side to the hold setup here cost the Falcons a bit too much. Hasham, well, he won a heroic 1 versus 2 at the end of the previous map. This one, not quite able to make it stick.
Drop the Monty. It's not working.
Try and push themselves in, because that added pressure of we are 6-3 up gives themselves so much to work with. Quick smoke play, and there's the charge. The Blackbeard is able to execute on the stairs. The big bit of map control is in their favor, because this is the connection, right?
Yeah, that's what you want. You want that black stairs control. Allows you to play both first floor, second floor. Good little rotate option. What Dolph does is he's live. I was a little bit surprised as well. Double hard breach in this round. They lose the map. Absolutely demolished you. Lovely cheeky little angle here from Flashry. I don't think this is going to get checked, and he knows, oh well, someone just went on the drone. Robbie is having an all-time shocker in this series, but fortunately his teammates have usually been standing up, but not in this case. Not in this case, unless Hasham.
He gets one.
Does it again? Can he do it?
I mean, they're going for the plant. They did lose somebody else above, and they're not quite responding to the verticality, I say, as the C4 wins it out, and that is 3 in a row.
Just go back and watch it.
The vibes, go back and watch it.
Oh, good shot from Flashry. Jalad goes for the peak. I mean, at some point on the attack, with a minute left, someone probably has to go for some kind of peak, but there was no utility to try and push that position or put pressure on it. It's just a dry peak, gets punished. RazaH again, looking cruisy.
Well, there's stress onto Perez's position, and he almost got gifted the fight, but think of how much is being dedicated here and how it hasn't netted anything. Another body gone. Now the flash comes and the Deimos tracked. It's just a little bit mistimed. The C4 bait, the play against it, pops a bit early, but the Deimos is thirsting for kills. Unfortunately, Live is there to protect a flawless. And, you know, I think FaZe and FURIA, B stream, best stream, never before as seen. There's C4 that does get the catch. Can they get the trade? It's Live getting Robbie, but it's a trade back and forth with Hasham on the Blackbeard, ensuring that they at least keep it even. A second shield is
train their sights on one location, and you've even got the flank potential with SDK coming in from behind. He'll get the easy kill. The round is basically done, you would hope. Surely. Hasham did find one, and now watching the flank. Again, time is a huge factor here.
Yeah, 10 seconds. They realize it's they're going to go for the 2 versus 1, but the C4 is the door they meet, and now they meet themselves here on map and for the hard breach. So I'm curious how Jalad is going to be deployed. There's the push, the roll, and the pressure on, and Jalad! Well, he gets a great take on, but then he's knocked right back off. There was a bit of a slowdown onto Flashry, but I don't really think he's the man that an EMP will affect too much. SDK fishing for an answer, but it's Dove that get knocked down. The reveal of the player behind the sushi bar as Flashry gets 2, but Hasham inside the site levels things back up.
Love is more important than the site right now.
Well, they have a good lead on at least somebody. And but they have one right back. SDK.
Hello, guys. You can't just be in the site if they haven't cleared above.
I mean, the kit seems a million miles away right now. Perez is watching up. The Candela's behind to get the motion. And Perez, hello, mate. You were looking the wrong way, buddy. But it puts us into a 2 versus 2. Look at guards. He's trying to make his way underneath as well. He's trying to draw the fight and the double angle as they just sort of spray, but they still haven't gone for the kit. The kit is behind them in the kitchen, and they have the vertical control right now. But they're trying to push the fight instead of going for the plant. And
go for it now.
I think they've said, Robbie said, look, I've got the cover. Go for it. Get in the smoke. Be covered. Now, there's 3 smokes still in pocket from Basetto. And he almost gets caught out by the run, but they don't stop the diffuser all the way around. They're up and they're off, and that could be the point of the fight. Robbie's
going to kill them both.
Left.
Oh, he drops. He had to kill them both. Forget the kit. There's 6 seconds. You can't get the plant. He needed to go for both kills. Instead, he's just done about nothing. Perez celebrating in the chat, and RazaH Gaming Company will secure 2nd place in this group.